Live at Sea-Tac Airport tonight, and while Thanksgiving isn't until next week, we are expecting heavy travel starting this weekend. We put our Sebastian Robertson right in the middle of it all at Sea-Tac. Sebastian, how are things going tonight?
Well, Mark, the good news is we're the only ones that are camped out. Travelers are cruising right along, all the big boards showing that the TSA lines are less than 15 minutes. Here's kind of an overhead view at what we've seen so far, not to jinx anybody because the workday has just barely ended. TSA is predicting a 4% increase in people traveling over this Thanksgiving Day break. If that does in fact happen, they predict it'll be the busiest Thanksgiving Day week travel ever. They say that part of this is due to the fact that passengers are choosing to not deal with that last-minute travel as much as they may have done in the past. And they say some of the days leading up to Thanksgiving Day are getting busier and busier. But if their numbers hold up, if their predictions hold up, they expect the day before Thanksgiving, the 27th, that Wednesday, to be the busiest day with as many as 55,000 people passing through Sea-Tac. As always, earlier is better, and be sure to check your flight info online before you head out. Mark, back to you.